What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Measure of a Game. This is Rudy. We are doing a impressions video on an upcoming game from a few indie developers titled Cris Tales. Right off the bat, the art style is what drew me into this title in the first place. With an Art Nouveau tangibility that I have not seen in many other games, I had to give this demo a double take. Or a double playthrough if you'd like. We first meet Cris, who I think the title of the game is based around. It's kind of a weird Cris Tales, Cris, I don't know. She gets one of her roses stolen by a frog in a top hat. If that doesn't draw you into this demo, I don't know what will, as I think it's the starting point for the title. We then run into Mother Superior, who I believe jumped the gun. Well, she's Cris's overlord, I think. And she's probably the shadiest character besides enemies that you encounter in the demo. There are a bunch of different characters and interactions to be had with the villagers of Nareem Town, though these seem like the same template I've seen time and again from JRPGs. Talk to the villager once, walk away. No major conversation options. And that's what's confusing about this title for me. It's not a Japanese role-playing game in the traditional sense. It's being crafted by two newcomer developers, Dreams Uncorporated and Sick with a Y. From what I can gather on the interwebs, they pose this game with inspirations from Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy VI, and Valkyrie Profile. It's a small team literally making a passion project for games of the past that still hold up to today. They've also included comparisons to Bravely Default and Persona 5, the latter of which I'll talk about later. The sleek menu system, from what I gather, doubles down on the artistic stylings of the game, which blends perfectly with the overall smoothness of the experience. It's like drinking a cold glass of milk and eating some decadent chocolate cake. I will bring up the cutscenes, which on the Switch appear to drop to 720p or even 480p docked, something that threw me off and took me out of the game for just a moment. I don't know if this is an issue across the board on all consoles. So Cris finds her rose at the cathedral. She's looking up at the panes. She sees herself within the panes and is enveloped in light. Kind of your run-of-the-mill, I've been chosen as the hero, savior, etc. Upon leaving the cathedral, she notices three distinct panels on the screen. These show the past, present, and future of the setting and characters. Also, the frog talks. This is where the demo got interesting, and I would walk from side to side of the area to see what the world looked like and what the world will look like. It's an interesting concept and a cool execution on the developer's part. The frog, Matthias, has us meet up with Wilhelm, a time mage, who says you're also a time mage. Wilhelm goes a little bit deeper into explaining what your powers entail and has you perform your own demonstration on a fruited tree. We then head back to the orphanage to see that in the future it looks abandoned and run down, which upsets Cris. We then walk around town, noticing the changes to the people. You can't really talk to them in the past, you can't really talk to them in the future. as far as the demo is concerned, but we noticed that the apothecary and the family house are both kind of run down. There's a little quest here in which you talk to the carpenter, you talk to the apothecary, you then go back and get the fruit that you actually made with Wilhelm's help, and that's used to create a remedy to the issues with the buildings in the future. This introduces time hop that Matthias can do, in which he can either go into the future, where he's kind of a fat, older frog with his eyes kind of shut, or into the past where he's more of a tadpole and kind of slithering along to grab items or to check something out for you. There is also a bit of choice here, where you can either help the apothecary, who probably sells items maybe at a discount, I don't really know, or you help out the Millers with their home. I chose the Millers just because the apothecary kind of has a bit of an attitude, and I don't like people with attitudes. After all this talking and walking around, you notice that there's smoke bellowing from the farms, and this is where more of the JRPG elements come in, and that, the townsfolk that are over there, the farmer, the mayor, don't want you to really help out. They kind of push you away like you're just a kid, go away, which kind of, pushes you to find a solution. The solution resides in you getting the sword from Wilhelm and kicking ass.
With the sword enhancing your powers, you should now be able to send your enemies to either the future or the past.
And this is where the Persona 5 vibes really come in. It's more the stylized battle menu system than anything else, but this really blends into the overall feel of the characters and art direction. Plus, it looks really freaking cool. We then meet up with Christopher, who I believe is the main character in the story. This helps for us to see really how the game is going to play out battle-wise. It's turn-based. You can see the characters' positions and when their turns will take place. There are some time elements that can kind of skip around where your character is. You can defend, you can wait, so you can go behind your partner, which adds a little bit of depth to the game. We then meet who's been behind the fires at the farms, and Christopher states that he's actually been chasing these two females for a little bit now. There's a pretty cool mechanic that you can use by dousing Volcano and Galley with water and then using the Future Crystal to rust their armor, making them weak to incoming attacks. After this battle, the JRPG elements come in again, in which the townsfolk are angry, trying to figure out who caused the fires, and Secretary Lana calls you out as being the culprit. The final part of my synopsis, as this was supposed to be an impressions video, is that you meet up with everyone and learn about the Empress of Time, original name, and form a pact to go and defeat her. From my time playing a lot of JRPGs, this is a pretty standard narrative. Hopefully Cris Tales can rise above the tropes and wow us when it comes out in November 2020. Real quick though, there is another mode that the developers did put into Cris Tales, Coliseum. This mode sees you going through rounds of enemies. There is no health or item replenishment from round to round, so you really need to be strategic here. I made it through round 5 of 8. Let me know if you're checking this game out and how far you made it in the Coliseum in the comments. If you enjoyed this content, please give a thumbs up. If you did not, give a thumbs down and let me know what you thought about it in the comments. If you're new to the channel and want to check out more content easier, subscribe. This is Rudy signing off for The Measure of a Game.